In the days of our fathers, Apostle Babalola and the other great men of God, if they had prayer requests, they would put one bottle of water and then one prayer request beside it. They will pray around it, and the water will begin to boil. And when it becomes hot and it boils, they put it aside. They said the Lord has answered that prayer. They put another bottle down and another prayer request. They will stand. It might be for 4, 5, 6 hours. The water will begin to boil, and then they say, God has answered this prayer. In the days of Apostle Babalola and the Ayodele, and those great men and women of God, wherever they had what we call meeting, whether it's administrative meeting or ministry meeting, whatever they have as a meeting, people will be around waiting for them to finish up with their meeting. Do you know what? When they say the benediction and they leave, people don't go to them and say, Papa, pray for me. You know what they do? They go to where they held a meeting. The barren begins to roll on the floor there. The lame begins to rub his body on where they sat down or put their feet to hold the meeting. They get healed and they get delivered. Because in such a meeting, there is unity, there is holiness. In 1988, we're going to be prepared for pastoral ordination. Pastor M.B. Oyeyemi, of blessed memory, shared this with me. And he said, he was laying in the church with boxers and singlets. And somebody walked in and came and said to him, can I see you? I just want to talk with you, sir. As he was following him, he said, I can't go out with you with ordinary singlet. 2 other evangelists were sleeping in the church hall. So he took his shirt and followed the man. They got to the church gate facing the road. They were talking. And the man said to him, I would have brought this vehicle a long time. This car is a gift to you. When he saw it, he said, hold on. He ran inside with the car keys to wake the other ones and said to them, are you sleeping or I'm the one sleeping? They said, we are the ones sleeping. You just woke us from sleep. He said, follow me quickly. When they got outside, the man was no longer there, but the car was there. He said, one man gave me these car keys. And so then there was a woman selling oranges across the road. He said, Mama, the man that I was talking to, you were looking at me, you greeted me. That man, where did he go? The woman said, sir, I wanted to ask you, Kilo she babalini? What happened to Daddy Church? About church, Daddy Church Lenny. He said, you were just doing this all by yourself. He said, no, I was talking to someone. He was showing me this vehicle. So I was just, no. She said, I saw you when you were coming out of the church gate. So I greeted you. You responded. And from that time, you were doing like this. No, the man said, no, mama. The man was talking to me. Said, I didn't see any man. It was only you. And I've been wondering since that time, what happened to you? He said that was the first vehicle. 2 years later, he was in his house, in the kitchen with his wife, talking and saying, mama, your food. And they were talking. A car drove into their premises. So he looked at the car from the window and said, Mom, somebody is out there. He said, Dad, you go and check. I'll continue with the food. He got outside and the man said to him, I brought this vehicle for you. He said, just wait there. One leg here, one leg here. Don't move. As he turned to call, Mommy, want to to me? Come. And he turned back. The man was gone. The man was gone. And the compound was large. So he ran to the gate. There is no way he could run within 2 seconds and run out of the gate. He ran to the gate to tell the security man, where is the man who ran out of this place? The security man said, nobody came in, nobody went out. He said, the gate has been locked and I've been leaning on the gate in the last 2 hours. He said, if you've been leaning on the gate and nobody came in, this vehicle that they drove into the compound, who brought it in? The security man said, nobody came in here. I have been standing here The man said, no, it cannot be. Then the Lord said to him, I'm remembering the labor of your love. Apostle Babalola, 7 of his disciples, and some of them I walked with them, knew them very well. As the second generation, I will call them. I call myself third generation. And this same MB Oyeyemi was one of them. And in those days, if he said to you in Yoruba, all of them will look at themselves. Let's quickly go and pray. I mean, you go with him for 1 hour, you may not come back for the next 3 days. So they always ask themselves, So, but 7 men followed him. And as they got to the mountaintop, he said, boys, wait here. I'll go over there, I'll pray, and I'll be back soon. Then he turned back and looked at this young man. And he said, take this loaf of bread. In Yoruba, he said, continue to eat this till I return. So he gave them a loaf of bread. And the first night passed. And everybody said, that's what we were afraid of. Then let's just quickly go and pray. Now he hasn't come down overnight. And one of them said, we have a loaf of bread that he gave us there. Let's just take some bits, eat and drink some water, and we wait for him. So they cut the bread, the loaves, took little portions out, ate that, put the rest in the bag. Papa didn't come the following morning. So one of them says, did not prepare to fast and pray. Let's eat again. They looked in the bag and the bread had grown back. So they asked themselves, did anybody change this loaf of bread? They said no. So they ate from it again up to half and put the rest back. In the evening, the bag, the loaf of bread had grown back. 7 men ate 1 loaf of bread for 7 days. So when Apostle Babalola eventually showed up and he was singing and coming, some of them said, Papa, you didn't tell us you were going to stay this long. One of them said, that's not the question. That's not the question we have. Sir, the loaf of bread you gave to us, we have been eating it for 7 days. It keeps growing back. Papa looked at them and smiled. He said, I told you in Yoruba, continue to eat this till I return. There is the sufficient power that does not fail, anointing fail, revelation that does not fail, the Almighty that does not fail. Continue in this walk, continue in this service. Someone that I'm talking to today, you will not die for your time. Jump to your feet and shout, my Father, my Father, I want the power. Go ahead, somebody, and begin to ask for that power. Archbishop Benson Idahosa did great program, 3 days. Listen, let the Spirit continue. Just listen if you can listen. 3 days of wonderful miracles, signs, the lame walking, everybody, cripples walking, blind seeing. And while people were celebrating the last day and he was giving the announcement, Apostle Johnson Suleiman was a chorister in the church then. He witnessed it, what I'm about to say. Up there in the gallery, while people were hopping around celebrating, a woman tumbled, fell down from the gallery, headlong on the concrete floor, and her head smashed. Splattered all over, brain splattered, blood everywhere. Archbishop Benson Idahosa kept reading the notices. People were yelling and crying. Apostle Johnson Suleiman was a chorister there. He jumped off to go and see whether they could help. He said when he got there and he saw the gory sight, he began to cry too. And people were wondering, did the Archbishop not hear the noise and the wailing of people? He just kept reading the notices. Announcement day 1, announcement for the next meeting next year, and he continued. When he finished the announcement, he said to everybody, give way, clear the road, move away from there. And as they moved away from there, from where he was standing, he spoke to the dead girl. He said, spirit that left the lady, come back into her. And the splattered brain, like a movie, with blood and water, like a movie, moved back. The skull broken, moved back. And the lady rose from the dead. And the whole church erupted with praise and thanksgiving. Archbishop Idahosa closed. He said, now we can close the service. And I said to myself, do you know what that great man of God was thinking? Jesus cannot start a service 3 days ago and the devil will come and end the service today. Did you hear me? Will he come and put the church to shame? That because they were celebrating all that had happened 3 days ago, it ended with the corpse of somebody. So Archbishop Idahosa did not bother about what the devil was doing. He was bothered with his announcement. And after that, he spoke like God. Spirit that left her, come back. That is what you are going to operate in from today.